What happens when you improve? When you do make your fundamental system changes stick, you should see both a reduction in process variation, in other words, the control limits get closer together, and a shift in the process average. Unfortunately, organizations see charts that reflect such improvement, like the example shown here, all too infrequently. This lack of noticeable system improvement can be a result of one or more of the factors listed below. System lumping. In many cases, they have lumped so many different systems into the data being analyzed that improvements in one area tend to be canceled out by performance shortfalls in another. Combining safety data across work sites or survey satisfaction percentages across work groups are examples of where system lumping can occur. No charting. Some organizations don't even take a control chart view of their performance, even if they are looking at trended data. Believe it or not, most organizations only trend a small portion of their key measures. The norm is to review performance by comparing one snapshot to another, such as last month to the year-to-date average, or last month to the prior year month. Even fewer use control charts. Fixes that fail. Another key cause for the lack of visible trendline improvement is the lack of fixes that actually work. Disciplining people, sending them back for more of the same training, consistently reminding them to be careful in a nagging way, and writing more hard-to-use procedures tend to be the most common corrective actions that are recommended to minimize future human error. These also tend to be some of the weaker fixes that are options, and it can actually worsen the problem. These weak fixes tend to fail more than they work. Disciplining people encourages them to hide errors rather than prevent them. Sending people back for more of the same training that was somehow flawed to begin with is both wasteful and non-productive. Procedures only work if they're written well, easily remembered and accessed, accurate and up to date, and followed correctly. How effective are your fixes? How do you know if you're improving? Daily process analysis activities. On a daily basis, each process owner should do 7 things. First, they should summarize process performance from the previous day. Second, they should update the performance summary spreadsheet. Third, they should identify how time and other key expenses were spent. 4, they should complete a daily dashboard report. 5, they should add 5 to 10 key errors, defects, and failures to the database that affected yesterday's performance the most. 6, spend time with people to examine process performance trends and changes. And finally, ask questions to help identify possible causes. I suggest using the Taproot root cause analysis questions that are found in the Taproot dictionary if possible. Don't forget to spend some time on improvement projects each day. This is a key number that should be talked about. What % of a process owner's job should be spent daily, on average, working on improvement projects? In order for process excellence from the inside out to work, it has to become a daily habit. I also think that it's key that each process owner enters their own data each day, instead of having someone do it for them and give them a summary report. You can have other people help you collect the data. In fact, this is recommended. But I've learned that there is value to be gained when a process owner enters those 5 to 10 key numbers into their own performance summary spreadsheet. And this can be done now very easily from a phone. They put in their 5 to 10 key numbers, and then the performance summary spreadsheet, the daily dashboard, and updates for the error tracking database are all done automatically. There's something about re-entering a common downtime problem, however, 5 times in a database in one day that tends to make that problem more obvious than a summary line item on a report. So each day, 5 to 10 key counts or ratios for a process, 5 to 10 key errors, defects, or failures that affected process performance during that time period the most. Each morning at the start of my shift, I began the day by crunching the numbers. Often, the information I needed was on a variety of different reports that my people had completed for me at the end of their shift the day before. At other times, I had to go out and ask people for more details about what had happened for a given mistake or failure. My primary goal was to understand how I had spent the time and money I was responsible for on the day before. My secondary goal was to capture this daily information for measurement and analysis purposes so I could spend that time and money more wisely in the future. Recognize that you have to spend time with your people for this process to work. Your people are sources of information for improvement options and problem investigation. Also, you have to have a responsibility to give them daily positive and negative feedback about personal and process performance. You can't recognize, coach, and learn from others from sitting behind a desk or in a meeting room. Finally, recognize that human error is not a root cause of a problem. Look for the weak or missing systems that should have helped prevent the problem from becoming larger. Focus on preventing errors versus punishing people for making them. Focus on finding someone to blame is not an effective strategy to prevent future errors. The capture, crunch, change process for reducing daily errors. This diagram summarizes how the tools presented on the chart can be used together daily to help drive process-based improvement. The original data can come from a variety of sources, such as timekeeping records, database and other transaction-specific records, and check sheets completed by operators. The sources can be manual in nature or digital. Hopefully digital. Key counts and ratios are captured on the daily performance dashboard, 1 per day per process, and performance summary spreadsheet, 1 record per day or row per day. Key problems, such as errors, defects, downtime, rework, scrap, wait time, complaints, are captured on the daily performance dashboard. What were our key problems for that day? We also capture them in our error tracker database, which is our master list of daily problems. Trendline and error breakdown Pareto analysis is typically done monthly, but you can easily look at this information anytime a visual performance update is needed. The key is that you put in the core information on the front end on a consistent basis. You're not just taking snapshots. I found that simply entering the key counts and ratios each day, along with the key problems, gave me a pretty good idea as to what needed to be changed and how well my recent fixes were working. You see patterns as you play with the numbers each day. The monthly summaries provided evidence of what our current key problems were and the types of progress that had been made in terms of affecting our results. The Key Improvement Project List provides a common holding place for all ongoing, planned, and on-hold ideas that have been identified by anyone, you or the team. In addition to having columns for the idea description, owner, status, completion date, and next steps, a column is provided to reflect the percentage complete for each project. Comparing reports over time helps identify slow-moving projects where additional resources or support may be required. Who should learn what? Simply completing this chart will teach you a lot about how willing you and your organization's leadership team are to prepare your leaders for an effective pursuit of process excellence. In a truly high-performing organization, essentially every box in the matrix would be checked. In other words, all 6 workforce groups would be expected to learn and use the 10 skills shown over time as the organization pursues process excellence. The typical organization, however, would not complete their chart in this manner. You know how it goes. Normally, the top-level people get the 2-hour executive briefing version for a given skill. Others get a 1-day summary, and only a select group of people get the full course package. If you see all work as a process, however, and are going to expect each process owner to consistently improve the processes they own, a good understanding, if not skill proficiency, will be required by essentially every group on the list in every skill area shown. Some high performers require all new hires to learn many, if not all, of the skills listed above as part of new employee orientation. Other companies, such as General Electric, require all exempt employees to become Six Sigma Green Belts. Also, if you want to get promoted at General Electric, you will need to earn your black belt. You need to decide what selections fit best with the process excellence goals your organization is committed to pursuing. Begin by completing a table that reflects your current skill learning expectations. To do this, you can simply place an X in each box where you feel a particular leadership group needs to learn a certain skill. To create a forward-looking version of the table, you can place the year or month that you expect each group to acquire a given skill in each box. Creating both a current state and a future state matrix will let you know how much adjustment you need to make over time to your personal development plans and job descriptions as you pursue process excellence. Group exercise number 4. Who needs to learn what skills? Who are your process owners and leaders? What percent of your leaders can use process improvement tools? How high should this percentage be in an organization? If your gap is great, what will it take to close it? Use the worksheet provided in the workbook to help you create an example matrix that identifies the match between process improvement skills and the different levels of leadership in your organization. The first thing you want to do is define the desired time frame. Okay, so we have a current time frame, which is where we are now, and then we're going to set a point in future for determining the desired tool use percentage. Ideally, the further out in time you go, the higher these percentages go. Once you've created the timeline, time frame, then you want to reach consensus on the different types of process improvement skills you want to include in your own locations table. So in this example, we have several process improvement skills listed on the left-hand side of the table, 7 different skill areas. You need to create a consensus list of your own. Once you've done that, take a look at where we think you currently are relative to the current level of tool use and application for each tool type and each leader group shown. You may want to adjust the leader group shown, but they are typically the common leadership groups that are found in organizations. You just might have a layer fewer or a layer or 2 extra. Once you've completed the current levels of tool use, project the desired level of tool use you would like to pursue. And again, do this by tool type and leader group. And finally, use color coding to identify your largest gaps. Once you've done that, think about some possible changes for closing those gaps, and always keep the time frame you identified as part of step 1 in mind. Also, revisit this process improvement skills matrix on at least an annual basis as part of your annual planning process to help ensure that you have your workforce capacity and capability resources in place to meet your strategic expectations. Keep improving.